So a lot of y'all might have heard about this debt ceiling that everybody's talking about. So what is it? Well, let's try simplifying it up. Imagine you have a piggy bank where you save your money. The United States also has a piggy bank, and that's called the Treasury. Just like yourself, the government will sometimes spend more money in its piggy bank than what it actually has. So when the US actually runs out of money in their piggy bank, they have to go off to different countries and actually ask them for loans, just like you may be asking Uncle Tim for a loan. But there is a limit that the government can borrow, and this is called the debt ceiling. Now let's imagine that the debt ceiling is like a fence around your piggy bank. It's like it has barbed wire around it, and it stops you from actually reaching in and taking too much. When the United States reaches its debt ceiling, that means it can't borrow any more money. When the government reaches its ceiling, it's actually not good, because what happens is the government needs to pay its bills, which are going to be like the school systems, the hospitals, and all the necessities that we need for our daily life. So what's happening right now is the United States is going to Congress and actually asking them, hey, we need to raise our debt ceiling so that we can go and pay our bills. So the Congress is who's going to decide if we can borrow money or not. And this is why a debt ceiling crisis happens. So if they decide that we cannot raise our debt ceiling, then it's going to cause us problems and a lot of uncertainty in our economy and as well our world. It's like you have money in that piggy bank, but nobody's allowing you to take any more out. It's going to make it harder for you to buy things that you want. So it's a very complicated issue, but it actually is a very good gauge for how the government manages its money. All right, guys. Well, we'll see if the United States gets its $31 trillion debt ceiling rose. And if it does not, we'll see what happens. What do you think is going to happen? Comment below. See ya. So let's talk about house hacking. This is actually where an individual who, like myself, who might be a first-time homebuyer, is looking to buy a property. Usually it's a multifamily property where you're going to live in one side and rent the other half. But typically loans call for 20% or more to do so. And a lot of people don't have that capital laying around on their first home. So how do people house hack? It's going to be with an FHA loan. This is still a big possibility for those people out there, maybe a little bit of the riskier borrowers, the newer buyers who want to make some rental income or possibly just use it as a stepping stone. So you can actually use 3.5% down for your down payment with just like your 2 units. This is going to be, pretty easily for you to be able to just get in there no matter what the rents are. It can be an empty side too. But when you go over 3 units, you really have to make sure on the loan guidelines side of things that the rent is actually going to cover the payment, because that's the only way that the lender will actually give you that loan with 3+ units. And you can go up to 4 with the FHA loan, but any more, then it's actually going to be more of a commercial loan. Now let's talk about if it's a conventional loan. If you're going to live in it, they'll just require you about 15% down on those duplexes. So these are little house hacking tips, but as well, don't forget that you can still buy a single family, even if it has a walkout basement, and technically turn it into like your own duplex. So just always think about that. Renting rooms is another house hack that you can think of too, because guys, we are still young. So you know what we can do? We can still have roommates. So just think about that when you're looking at purchasing your first home and trying to build wealth and generational wealth for your family. So this is Ethan Adams, Remax Properties. See you.
Yeah, that was money.